Hey everybody, back again to look at several new metal CDs I've added to my collection, as well as taking a look at a couple other things. So the first thing we're going to look at is Vargnat by Over. Over, of course, are the legendary Norwegian black metal band that changed a whole lot since then, but that's besides the point. This demo was from 1993, but this is the re-release on Peaceville from late last year in 2023. So what it is a re-release of the demo with a bonus live track from 1993. The second song on here, Tragedine Trone, definitely has me thinking about the debut album already. The third song on here, Troll Skagen, definitely something that would go on the second album. Can't pronounce it, but you know the one, the all acoustic one. Tracks 1 and 5, unfortunately, I find have a little bit of a cringy vocal thing going on, just kind of a operatic, clean vocal that sounds almost female, but I'm pretty sure it's Garm. And I definitely wasn't a fan of that, but it doesn't last long. And another thing I was thinking when I was listening to this was that, especially the last track, Vargnat, definitely sounds like a precursor of Ved Buens Ende. This is my copy of Written in Waters, another Norwegian band that went weird. This was definitely at least a couple years after this came out, but definitely hear some similarities on that track for sure. But my favorite ones are probably the two I mentioned, songs 2 and 3. Next up, Cruel Force, Under the Sign of the Moon. Cruel Force are a German metal band. And the reason that I picked this up is that last year in 2023, they put out an album that I've been seeing on a lot of end of year lists. I definitely listen to it in the background, but I'm going to try to get that on CD one day and check it out some more. But anyways, I was looking online and I saw their debut album here. And, well, first of all, awesome album cover. The newest album, when I was listening to it, all I could think of was Show No Mercy era Slayer. It's not a carbon copy, but the vocals are very close to old school Tom Araya. And the songs were not identical, but very, very influenced by this album. So I was kind of expecting even more of that, to go back 2 albums in time and check out the debut album, which came out on Shadow Kingdom, by the way. And this was much different. The vocals were definitely pretty much a death metal extreme vocal, as opposed to, again, the old Slayer vocals. And I also found musically, if I were to sum it up simply, I'd say equal parts Bathory, Celtic Frost, Slayer, and Motorhead. Cliche evil metal lyrics. My favorite tracks on here are probably Chants of Mayhem and the closer, The Gallows Prayer. So speaking of cliche evil metal lyrics, my next album here is Vault Wraith. Light the Candle in Honor of Devils. Quite the album title and quite the album cover. And this came out, probably several years ago now on House Headbangers. No, 2020. Kind of a blind buy for me. I didn't know what this would be like. Kind of a mixture of all the extreme metals, I guess. I'd say basically evil heavy metal with a little bit of death metal and a little bit of black metal. Definitely moments where I heard some Merciful Fate. The songs are very, very far away from Emperor, but some parts in the guitar and the vocals did remind me of Emperor. My favorite songs on here are The Divine Butcheress and the Morta Possessed. I guess my complaint is that I don't think these are the most memorable songs, but still a cool old school metal release. Okay, next up we're going to talk about Stargazer again. I've talked about them a couple times over the last several months, and that's the second album, A Great Work of Ages, A Work of Great Ages. And more recently I got the third album, Emerging to the Boundless, but I already talked about that. I want to get caught up, and I bought the fourth and most recent album from 2021 on Nuclear War Now, and that is Psychic Secretions. Another future classic from this Australian band. I actually wanted to round out my collection and buy the first album, The Scream That Tore the Sky, but it's out of print and you can find it, but you'll be paying like $80 for it. Not right now. But again, you have to call these guys progressive death metal. And I hate that term, but I don't know what else to call it. As always, the bass playing is extremely present in the mix. Very interesting playing. Interesting songs. And very occult-based lyrics. I always got the impression these guys were really knowledgeable and really serious about the subjects. But I love this one, and I think my favorite two tracks in here are Hooves and Pilgrimage. Last one for today is a CD I just, had sitting on the racks for a while. I decided to take it out for the first time in a while. And this is Mortar, Burn Up the Dead. There's not a lot out there about this band, but they are Canadian, and it's a mixture of death metal with thrash, and I even kind of got, Meshuggah, Fear Factory vibes here and there. Not my thing, but it's okay for what it is. Came out in 2017 on CDN Records. And CDN Records, I don't own many of their releases, but I do order from that distro quite a bit. Seems that they mostly put out brutal death metal, which again isn't really my thing. But especially if you live in Canada, that's a really good distro with really good prices. So you should check that out. But yeah, it's Mortar, Burn Up the Dead. And that's it for me today. Thanks for watching.